Hi, I'm Sarita Roche, and today I'm working on a pearl pour painting for a Christmas gift for my neighbor, and I think I have just enough time to do it. So let's jump in right away. All right. I know some of you have tried my recipe for making pearl cells. I use 1 part paint, half a part of Artist Loft pouring medium, and 1 part Floetrol for my mix. And some of you have had great success, some of you not so much. I just want to show you that I don't measure anything. There is a way to do this that can be very spontaneous and flexible. So I'm just going to go ahead. You saw me squirt some paint into the bottom of these cups. I'm just going to put a splash. I say 1 part or half a part, excuse me, but in reality it's just a little splash. And all this does is it's going to resist when I put my dump paint, which has none of the Artist Loft pouring medium. So there we go. I have my Artist Loft pouring medium. Now I'm going to add some Floetrol. The goal for me when I'm doing paint pearl cells is that I'm trying to make a mixture that is on the thicker side. So I kind of want my pearl cell paint to stay put, if that makes any sense. And you'll see when I put it down on the canvas. All right, so now I'm going to make my dump paint. This is the paint that I'm going to pour over my pearl paint. And it is what is going to allow those pearl cells to pop through. So I've chosen this deep purple. For my dump paint, first of all, I need more dump paint than pearl paint. And I generally use a part of paint. This is a nice big glob down there. A part of Floetrol and a part of water. And you can be very, very conservative with your water since you can't go backwards. So I add it sparingly, slowly. So I added some water. I'm gonna add in my Floetrol. And you know, it's fine if you add a little bit too much, because this paint is just going to resist the other paints down there. It is going to be thinner. You're not going to get quite the same vibrancy. And a lot of it actually goes over the edge once you're dumping. So I am much more flexible with how I do this paint. And so it's going to be quite liquid. If it makes a mound when it drips, and I saw a tiny little mound there for a second, then it's too thick. And I'm gonna water that down and just keep mixing. And I'll show you here in just a second the difference in consistency between my pearl paint and my dump paint. I decided that I wanted to go ahead and add another dump paint because I want to do a little bit of a marbling effect. So I squirted some pink in here, and it was a tube actually that needed to get finished. So although you can see between this and this, there's a much more volume here than there is here. So, and it's okay if this has more pouring medium ratio to paint than those. You can really mess with the mixture a little bit more here than you can over there. So I'm just going to get this mixed up. So now that I have all my paint mixed, let me just show you a little bit of the consistency. Here is my pearl mixture. I just want you to see real close. When it drips, do you see how first a little tiny mound of paint rests on top of the surface of the paint before it disappears? You see that? It's a little bit slower. It's a little bit more sluggish. All right. Now I'm going to show you my dump paint. This is quite liquid. And actually, I would say this is almost, oh, I just spilled on myself. Do you see how no mound rests on top? It just disappears. All right, if this is too thick, then it will not let those pearl colors pop through. So keep that in mind. All right, so let me show you my canvas. So there are all different kinds of ways to do pearl cells. No one way is right. I'm just showing you my own way. So I'm going to take all of these neon colors and arrange them in the middle. Let's see. I'm going to do something like this. Now, if you remember, I said I like my pearl colors to kind of stay put. I want them very much more in the center than on the edges because I have plans for this painting. I just really want those bright colors in the center. So now I'm going to take my dump paint. Here it is. And I'm actually going to just dump it straight down in one big glob right there in the green. And then I'm going to take my pink and do the same thing. This is not level. I was not level, so I had to stop. It started to go that way, so I've leveled it more, and now I'll continue. Now I'm pouring in the pink, and I just kind of want it to marble with that purple. So I have a nice big puddle that's on top of my pearl paint. I'm gonna let it sit for just a moment and then I'm gonna stretch it out. Over here. There. Here. This right over that edge. And then we're going to go this way. This way. All the way across. Great. Now this way. All the way across. These ones are like crazy nice, messy. Let's get this all. So it's been about 15 minutes that I let this sit. I could not find my torch, so I did use a heat gun for like 60 seconds over the whole thing. And I really love how the colors mix. Like, look at that green with the orange and the pink in the middle. So let's see how this dries. My studio's in my basement. It is climate controlled, but it does get a little bit moist down here, and it's going to be like 20 degrees tonight. So we shall see how quickly this one will. All right, it's all dry. I came down here and I touched it a tiny bit when it was not dry, but it took about one night to be dry, like all of this area. This area, which had the pearl paint, took an additional day to dry. But it's so nice and flat now, and it's just what I wanted. I wanted this concentration of kind of glowing cells and then this purple, because I'm going to be trying my hand at a Pokemon figure. So let's get started. I sketched out my basic shape with a Posca pen, and now I'm going to go ahead and paint it in. I dug out the last remnants of paint from these tubes, so it looks pretty awful, but it still works, and I'm so happy to empty out paint down to the very last drop. Thanks for watching. I hope my neighbor loves it. She's only 8 years old. I think she will. You can always find me at CerritaLaRoche.com. Keep making a beautiful mess.